It's been said that the greatest pain to human nature is the pain to change. We don't want to change. And there are times when people want to change, but they only change so they can fit into another group. Flip-flopping from one group to the other, that's not change. Change for the sake of change is not change. That change has to come by God's own hand, in His own timing, in His way, not our way. Here's some hint as to true change. Allow God to bring you to where, after you think you know it all, you begin to learn. As Scripture says, that him that thinks he knows anything become as though he knows nothing. As long as you think you know something, you would think that you could do the changing. And you would do it, like with God, why are you trying to change? As you came to know the Lord, so remain. 1 Corinthians 7 says it. I'll show that text on screen. If you came circumcised, don't seek to be uncircumcised. Or if you came to the Lord not circumcised, don't go out seeking to get circumcised. And we'll think, what are you talking about? What do you mean by the circumcision? Ask yourself a question. How does a person uncircumcise himself? If you understand what circumcision, the cutting of the foreskin of a human penis. At the 8th day, the Jewish people had that tradition. There was an external symbol to represent an eternal fact. It's the circumcision of the heart. This subconscious mind I keep talking about, this flesh, and going with the human spirit, rather than following at the dictates of the flesh that's on your way to dying. Then the other side of this coin, you have to perform some kind of religious act in order to be accepted. For example, we in this group, we don't drink wine. We don't drink strong drink no more. Because we're circumcised of the flesh. You're missing the point. It gets a touchy situation in religious circles. You come in there, if they know you drink, they're going to try to change you so you don't drink. Now, I'm not talking about somebody that gets drunk, alcoholic. Paul addressed that fact. You have liberty where God may allow you to drink, but you don't flaunt that liberty of someone else who's weak in conscience. His conscience will allow him to drink. You don't go there and drink from saying you have liberty to drink. You ain't got a right to drink, but you don't get drunk. We're not talking about that. It's a touchy subject. Now, I've dealt with in other videos at rather long or length. Don't want to get into it here, get distracted with turning this video or audio into some guy stance of prohibition like they did back in the 20s when he had Elliot Ness fighting Al Capone. Remember that? The Mafia Wars and stuff like that. We don't want to get into that witch hunt. It could turn into that. Then you get involved with the state, the law, the government, prohibiting various substances. And then you go from one extreme or the other in this whole matter. Or any matter. Like abortion. Each state deciding where they can have abortion. True change will only be brought by God Himself. And it gets beyond the law. The law was given to reveal that we all need to change. But it's not changed as we might think changed according to the flesh. It's changing from one mind, this rogue fallen soul, to a new whole mind that's laid there dormant, unaware. It's called the mind of Christ in your spirit. And that mind coming to discover its Father, and allowing Him to change you from what you've become as far as the flesh, some dictate of race, culture, creed, or gender. That's what I'm saying. I didn't want to start getting go off the track here, getting into prohibition and all that stuff. So, change. It is the greatest pain in human nature, but allow God to change you. And don't seek to change others. Judge nothing before the time. Allow God time to change people. He's changed you. You'll change them. God bless.